We have a chance of some storms today. It's a low chance, but a chance nonetheless, and it could even bring us some severe weather. We'll talk more about it right after this. Fires continue to burn across north central Texas here, and this is a picture from the fires over in Waxahachie yesterday. And what you see here actually is a collection of fires that were going on really in the same vicinity. There's one column of smoke there, a second, which this one is quite a bit darker. That hits some different kinds of junk and some tires, and that'll turn that black very quickly. And then a third column of smoke there. So 3 fires going on yesterday in Waxahachie, all really in the same vicinity. The good news is that quick response from first responders was able to keep that tame and keep that from spreading very quickly. Unfortunately, though, there are larger fires across the area, one in Mount Calm, which I believe I heard is nearly fully contained there, that being, of course, in southern Hill County, and then over in Johnson County here, acting like I have a map behind me, but over in Johnson County, I believe it's being called the Doubleback Fire. 1,100 acres burning there with only 25% containment. So keep that in mind there as we have very dry conditions across the area, and that map, that drought map, is showing you we do have very dry conditions across all of our area. We'll get another map on Thursday and we'll see more of that moving northeastward. Don't let this fool you. I keep mentioning this in Corsicana. Don't let that fool you into thinking that somehow Navarro County is not dry. Very dry there as well, and there have been fires so far in Navarro County, not quite as large, but it does bear reminding that conditions are very, very dangerous, and that's why we have these burn bans all across our area, all 4 counties, of course, included in those. And those will be there until we get more rain, probably in the fall. So unfortunately, it's probably going to be a few more weeks before we can get rid of those and consider things safe to burn again. Getting back to the heat, which is the second element of misery that we've been putting up with here. August 7th, the highs, the record highs, are not quite as high as they've been. 108 in 1953, 109 in 1951, 107 in 1915. All for the other counties, and then for Ellis County here, 104. Of course, those more recent records. We'll get pretty close to that today, may even tie. I don't think we'll break that, but could tie it across our area. And of course, yes, the normal temperature, 97 degrees, we will see that start to decrease over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. We will be seeing that happen, and the good news is the future does at least suggest that we could be bringing the cap down a little bit, not the cap in terms of the warm layer of air that keeps storms from developing, but the cap in terms of how high the temperatures are. Looks like we could have a pattern change coming, not this, well, I would say this weekend, but next week we could see temperatures topping out in the lower 100s instead of the mid 100s, but we'll have to watch that for future reference. But for now, 103, 104 across the area today. I think the combination of the high pressure system being further to the west, probably more clouds, and then yes, a possibility of a few showers and thunderstorms, at least maybe some rain-cooled air across our area, will help keep temperatures a little bit lower than they have been. Overnight tonight, not cooling down much though, because we will have more humidity, so that will keep temperatures from getting too cool across our area. Yes, we do have excessive heat warnings all across our area, and the humidity is higher, and that will make up for the lower air temperatures and bring heat index. The brain is not quite keeping up with the mouth rather is not quite keeping up with the brain this morning, but heat index values will be rising to right around 110 to 112. So really, I think today closer to 108, 110, and then as we get later in the week, 110 to 112. So just absolutely hot out there. If it's not one thing, it's another. The good news is that lower winds and higher humidity will help with the fire situation, help make things not quite as volatile out there. It's still dangerous, but not quite as volatile. But again, that does make it less comfortable out there. So again, if it's not one thing, it's another. Looking across the region right now, and once again, you can see that there's rain kind of all over the place. And yes, from Oklahoma over into Arkansas, cannot talk this morning. Oklahoma City over to Little Rock towards Memphis, more showers and thunderstorms, and really, when I tell you, they do not need this out there. They've had so much rain from Missouri to Tennessee, over to Arkansas, tons of rain out there. They've had flooding. It's just been one thing after another. Oklahoma has had a lot of storm systems blowing through over the last couple of weeks, and the high pressure system is really part of that. So yes, today we have this stationary front across our area that will stay north of us. So we will be on the warm side of the front. We will stay hot today, but here's what I'm hoping for. We should see storms pop up along the front that will be north of us. However, if we can get those storms to produce outflow boundaries, that those outflow boundaries can move southward into our area, we've seen, in fact, we saw it a lot in June, where we have a low chance of a storm or two. We get those outflow boundaries bouncing around everywhere. That can really increase your coverage in terms of the rain you see across an area. There was one day when I told you that Ellis and Navarro counties would be getting most of the rain. Turned out the few storms that were in Ellis and Navarro counties blew outflow boundaries over into Johnson and Hill, and turned out there was more rain coverage there. So outflow boundaries can totally change an outlook, can totally change the forecast. And so that's what I'm hoping for later today, is that we will see more of that kind of extend that rain chance southward here than just right along the front. And yes, to our west, we still have the high pressure dome there. That will be retreating eastward later this week. And yes, we will be right back with those very warm temperatures. There is a marginal risk of severe weather. Now you see this light green here, that's just the general thunder risk, really. So that's where the National Weather Service says we really expect storms here and northward. So this is actually north of where it was before yesterday. So confidence lowering for storms south of us, south of Waxahachie and Cleburne at least. But again, if we get those outflow boundaries, that can totally change everything. So just keep that in mind. But the marginal risk of severe weather today, I mean, we're really talking about gusty winds. Not looking at hail or tornadoes or flooding or anything like that. Definitely not flooding, won't be anywhere near enough for that. But we will be looking at some gustier winds with the storms that do develop. And again, the gusty winds are what produces those outflow boundaries. So if we can get those outflow boundaries to move southward, that will increase our chances for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. So stay tuned for that. 10% chance is what I have for today. Southwest winds right around 10 miles per hour, 103, 104 for the high. Tomorrow we are warmer. Our rain chances are really kind of limited to the early part of the morning there, really overnight into tomorrow morning. I don't really think we see much tomorrow. We do start warming up though, and the winds start picking up, and then yes, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll get through this, don't worry. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 105, 106, 107, just uncomfortable out there. Winds increase as well, so the heat's back, the fire risk is back. The humidity will be a little bit higher though, so that's why I'm talking about those 110 to 112 heat index values. And then next week, I do have a cold front on here, but I don't have any rain chances right now. I think we do see the front moving somewhere into North Texas. Where? It's too early to tell. Will it bring rain? Too early to tell. And will it bring a cool down? Really kind of too early to tell. Right now, it looks like it does make next week cooler than this week, at least for the first few days. But that's still 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days out. So it's still a wash right now to really say anything for sure. But the good news is, at least the trend that I'm seeing, is that we have rain chances generally, or at least cold fronts, too ambitious to say rain chances, but we have these cold fronts that are starting to push the envelope into our area. I would expect this as we start getting closer to fall, and it's a good sign. It means that the cooler air is starting to push further and further south. So, of course, as we get into fall, the cold air will be progressively more and more successful. But I am welcoming the fact that we do have fronts starting to make their way into our area. So we will watch that trend, and hopefully over the next several days we will start to see those become a little bit more successful across North Texas. But for now, yes, we do have a chance of rain today. We will be watching that, so stay tuned throughout the evening, afternoon and evening hours for those chances of rain today. And then yes, throughout most of the week we are warming up, and then next chance of rain, let's watch this weekend and see if maybe we can get a rain chance there, at least get a cool down here, and let's get more cold fronts moving into north central Texas. So stay tuned today for the possibility of some storms north of us that, if they produce outflow boundaries, could bring us our first rain in quite a while as well.